no doubt that when we start looking at what's causing the quagmire in so many people to lose weight, the basic premise is that we need to learn what Syndrome X is and how to combat it. It's a term that a professor from Stanford University, Jerry Revin, came up with, Syndrome X, to describe the metabolic emphasis that goes on in the human body. And now Dr. Julian Whitaker out of California has also come up and coined the term Y and Z. And it truly is a phenomenon, a syndrome, a medical exasperation that once you nip it in the bud, you just feel better, your body is more invigorated, you'll sleep better, you'll have a lot more energy. And certainly the ramifications of cardiovascular problems like stroke and heart attack, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, in the medical field, as they measure each parameter, they see all of those things going down when Syndrome X is controlled, when the syndrome is actually taken away. On the screen, you'll see that the simple analogy of what Syndrome X is. The Professor Jerry just drew an X on the blackboard, and at each point of the X, he started to write over there overweight, blood pressure irregularities, blood sugar dysfunction, and then, of course, fats in the blood. I put down more of the clinical symptoms. If somebody goes to the doctor and they are overweight, if they do have high blood pressure, if they have high cholesterol, but yet their good cholesterol, the HDL, is way too low, as well as their triglycerides, their numbers are way over 100. Triglycerides is a fat plus a sugar. It's a combo stuck together. And unfortunately, many people are genetically predisposed that once Syndrome X hits them, uric acid levels go up and the toe hurts, and they call it gout. And then we measured the blood, the things that make the blood sticky, the things that make the platelets aggregated. We call it homocysteine. And certainly if you have any of those Syndrome X symptoms, then you're at high risk, heart attack, coronary heart disease, and stroke. But when Dr. Julian Whitaker began looking at his patients, on the next slide, I took from some of his gleanings what Syndrome Y was, and really and truly it's somebody with Syndrome X, but a much higher risk, because now their blood really is clotting and stacking and sticking. And when you look at it under a dark field microscope or even through medical technology, you realize that, whoa, these people, the blood's not flowing at all. It's like a log jam everywhere. And if the patient is female, in the chronology, everything about it, from premenstrual to menstrual to menopausal to perimenopausal, they're a mess. They are a hormonal mess. And then we start asking other things, and their immune system has been impaired. They may have Sjogren's, or they may have multiple sclerosis, or lupus, or Epstein-Barr virus. They may have a whole bunch of stuff. They may have had the mumps, the measles, the pneumonia. It's just their immune system is impaired, and all these things come back to haunt them. In the female spectrum, in Syndrome Y, if they still are menstruating and they're going through their monthly cycles, their ovaries are just cystic. They have little cysts all over the ovaries that just create chaos and confusion, hair on the face, a weight that will not go away. And Syndrome Y is when we start looking at their blood profile and their liver enzymes are elevated, so they're up there. And wow, if we start factoring their blood and realizing that, look, they don't get proper essential fatty acids at all. Matter of fact, the fats that should be good are going down the wrong channel or the wrong pathway, and they're just beaming a tenant to inflammation, which leads to more blood clotting. And when that book, The Zone Diet, first came out, the Zone technology, Dr. Barry Sears, I was very interested in reading what channels blood flows through and the pathways of inflammation. And what happens is there's a hormone called Syndrome X. And then on the next slide is the worst of the worst scenario. Dr. Julian Whitaker describes that as Syndrome Z, and man, that's when inflammation is throughout the body. I'm talking about not just in your joints or in your back or in your shoulder, but in your arteries, in your aorta of your heart, in the chambers of your heart, in your lungs, in your liver, in your kidneys. You may not know, but your body is lit up with inflammation. Liver disease, inflamed liver, they call it cirrhosis. That's the hardening of and the itis of it. And when Syndrome Z is in play, these people are diabetics taking insulin injections, and unfortunately when fire is in the human body, there's no doubt that their pH level is way too acidic. It's almost like pouring battery acid on the skin. You know how it burns and burns and burns. Well, when your body is acidic on the inside, you're burning up the tissue, and the tissue's trying to put out the fire, and it starts to replicate too fast. And that's just one of the mechanisms of action that cancer can take to infiltrate the human body. Going to the next slide, we're going to talk now. See, what we're talking about tonight is the Syndrome X that is very common, and the common reason for it, the dietary causes, is that we're way up in potato chips and French fries and a juicy hamburger with lots of cheese and smothered in mayonnaise, and the high saturated fats. The Kentucky Fried Chicken side of life has really played havoc on the eicosanoids and on the essential fats in our body that are out of whack. And then you start adding the Oreos and the chocolate chip cookies, the pies and the cake, the ice cream, the sweet drinks, the sweet teas, the simple sugars. These things get stuck together. A fat plus a sugar is called a triglyceride. And if you've got that floating in the blood, it's going to cause things to get sticky and things to get accumulated, and no doubt that we have created our own Syndrome X scenario by just being a blessed America. We are well fed, and we don't just eat a breakfast, lunch, supper. We have snacks in between, and anytime we party, we celebrate, and anytime we have a cup of coffee, we think we got to have a donut with it. And then who knows? I think I did a whole storybook, 30-minute medical dissertation on high fructose corn syrup. But I will say that HFCS is a four-letter word, so beware of it. It is very tough. On the next slide, the killing you softly slide, this is where a lot of people, though they smoke every day, and they say, I'm not feeling any adverse effects, and though they drink ethanol every day, a glass of wine per day, they say, I don't see any negativity there. And it is true that a lot of people smoke every day, and they do drink a glass of wine every day. But when you start filtering in the no exercise, constant battle with stress, and then you add the lousy standard American diet, SAD, standard American diet, the lousy eating to the scenario, and you put sugar into play, sugar then really becomes as bad for your heart as saturated fats, and it is the silent killer. When your blood pressure is up, you don't know it. When your cholesterol is up, you don't know it. When your triglycerides are up, you don't know it. When your homocysteine inflammation level is up, you don't know it. When C-reactive protein is up, you don't know it. And unless you are faithful, and let me remind you to be faithful to your physician, faithful to your checkups, faithful to your physical examinations, because in a simple blood test, in a simple stethoscope, in a simple blood pressure analysis, the doctors can pinpoint so many little things that can become a lifesaver, because these things are killing people in a very nonchalant way. And when the heart attack occurs, some people had no idea that they were sick. They had no idea they had pre-diabetes or even diabetes. So on the next slide, we get into the reasons for syndrome X, Y, and Z. And it is simply this. As Dr. Jerry Revin said at Stanford University, it is resistance to the action of insulin in the human body. And the amazing thing is that a lot of people have high blood pressure and high cholesterol being treated with blood pressure and cholesterol pills when nobody has even addressed the reason for their blood pressure or the reason for their high cholesterol. It is resistance to the actions of insulin on the body. The tissue does not know. The muscle tissue primarily, the muscles themselves are not functionally using insulin. They are resisting. They are rebellious. And the body chemistry then changes, and when it starts changing and the homocysteine levels go up and the C-reactive protein goes up and the triglyceride goes up and the LDL bad cholesterol goes up and the HDL good cholesterol goes down and the blood sugars start fluctuating like a roller coaster, we got a medical conundrum. We are in a mess, and the whole body system hates inflammation. When you're on fire from the inside out, your body will literally mutiny, and it'll mutiny against the commands of insulin. Insulin comes down there with a key, puts the key in the lock, and it says, wrong key, buddy. Or even it says when you try to turn it real good, the lock will jam and say, no way, you're coming in here. And unfortunately, more insulin begins to pour out because the human body is reading it. Hey, we're not getting rid of this fat. We're not burning down this sugar. And the only thing the little pancreas, the islet of Langerhans, the pancreatic cells know to do is to turn more insulin loose. So they start pouring insulin out, and they try to overcome the disobedience of the muscle cells, the tissue that are not responding to insulin properly. And this is just simply a perversion of metabolism. It is a mess. So on the next slide, I give you the reasons that you have to have a balance of insulin. And look on that slide, will you? Insulin, the important roles of insulin. If I were to give a physiology 101 class to most pharmacists, nurses, and physicians, and I said, please give me the role of insulin, sugar metabolism would be probably the only answer I get. But let me remind you that are physicians and nurses and pharmacists, insulin is majorly interplaying with a lot of hormones in the body: leptin, adiponectin, the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland, the adrenal system, the thyroid gland. Believe me, those hormones are directly correlated and interacting with insulin, and insulin is extremely important in the metabolism of not just sugar, but look on that slide, fat as well as protein. And if you can't metabolize protein, fat, and sugar properly, then you're storing fat, you're wasting muscle, which is the protein, and you're just skyrocketing the sugar, just getting you into diabetes. And insulin affects the storage, the actual storage of good nutrition like vitamin A, D, E, the K. You must have good insulin regulations for the storage of those proper nutritions and the basic use. Your vitamin B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, folic acid, vitamin C, the zinc, none of those will function properly when insulin is out of balance. And therefore, insulin becomes very much involved in tissue building. And whenever insulin is resisted, and the insulin has to be pumped out more factorially, your kidneys begin to take an issue. It's like sending sandpaper inside the kidneys, and the poor tubules and the nephrons, all the blood vessels, everything in that kidney starts to fail. And many diabetics have major kidney problems because of improper insulin utilization. And bad insulin will mean now your muscles are breaking down, and then after the muscles start breaking down, all this ammonia and all these muscle, the liver says, what am I going to do with it? And a very strong action on the tissue of the liver starts occurring. Your enzymes go up. The ALT and the AST and the SGOT. When liver enzymes go up, the body is saying, look here, you got to stop right now what you are doing. Your lifestyle has to drastically change or we're going to be dead. You see, insulin is a trophic hormone. And when it's out there running the play, trophic means growth. And if you don't watch out, certain cells will become trophic, and those cells, like the insulin regulation on the prostate gland, or in the soft tissue of a female breast tissue, insulin can actually cause those hormones to get out of whack and cause the cells to grow into cancer. So most people know insulin as a sugar metabolic property, but it's also a very major fat storage hormone. And because insulin affects oodles of enzyme reactions that are involved in gene expression, the more we learn about insulin, we are now learning that when you balance insulin with resveratrol, with the ellagic acid, like in aloe red, OPC, put those two things together. If you got a good blood sugar level with insulin, your gene expression is turning on the good genes, capable of turning off the bad genes, which now means we're going to whoop this series. On the next slide, I just gave you a simple analogy of what a syndrome X is, and it just is the fast aging of the human body. You see, when glucose, sugar, gets stuck to a protein, that's called glycation. It gets glycated, it gets rancid. And if you do that enough, that's called advanced glycated end products, hence the abbreviation AGE, advanced glycated end products. And man, there is no doubt that Syndrome X patients look 10, 20, 30 years older, and the reason they do look older is because inside their heart, their liver, their lungs are aging at a major rate. But the worst scenario of AGE, the advanced glycated end products, is that the neuropathy in the eye and the neuropathy in the feet begin to set in, and people lose their eyesight, and many people have lost the limbs, the leg or the foot or the toes because of that. On the next slide, I just advanced the insulin resistance, and what I'm trying to just simply say tonight is that the body's vital, most necessary glucose handling hormone in the world is insulin. And when it gets out of whack, when the tissue of the muscle does not respond properly to insulin, then your insulin is out of whack. And the usual suspects are definitely a very too much high fatty diet, slothfulness, we just don't walk like we ought to walk or get around, and we have a family history. It's like, well, you know, genetically you got it. Remember a while ago on that slide before when we were talking about the advanced glycated end products, and if we mess with the gene extrusion there, then we're messing up the whole scenario of family history. And you see that last sentence there on this slide, it's very, very important. You grab this now, because the liver holds the key. The liver is where the function of everything's going to happen. It's where we're going to unlock the secret. We're going to reverse the syndrome of the X. And when we get to it, we can help things go. On the next slide, we just continue the worst scenario of insulin resistance. And ladies, it is associated with polycystic ovarian syndrome. And that's where women they show facial hair, masculinization. They will have a much irregular menstrual cycle. If a young girl's trying to get pregnant, it's almost impossible. And unfortunately for the man, it becomes more feminizing, like breasts begin to grow and the prostate gland begins to swell. So here's how this stuff works. On the next slide, this is how it works. Each of us, we eat. And when we eat, whatever we eat, we release insulin into the bloodstream. Now remember, insulin is a vital hormone. It's involved enzymatically in the human body, hormonally in the human body, and it's going to encourage the tissue in the muscle to please swallow up and utilize glucose for energy. Gobble it up. You got glucose running through the bloodstream, get it and give me energy and climb the stairs. But when we're sitting and we're not walking, and when we're snacking, and when we're eating, we're pumping more insulin. And the glucose starts hanging around in the blood system, and now it gets stuck with sugar plus protein over here, and fat plus sugar, which is triglyceride, and now triglyceride bumps into the glycated protein, and these things start getting like logs in a river. It's like a beaver building a dam. And the next thing you know, insulin stops the liver, says, wait a minute, liver, stop what you're doing. You can't release any more blood fat, no more fat into the blood, because we've got so much triglyceride we can't handle it. And whenever that happens, the liver starts getting stuffy. And now it gets inflamed, and it's a vicious cycle. So in the next slide, we see how much of a vicious cycle it is. Excess triglycerides on a blood test, that's anything over 100. That makes your muscle cells become insulin resistant. Did you hear that? Your liver is the key. But if you're high on triglycerides, you are making your muscle cells clamp their mouth and shut up, and they will not use insulin. Insulin resistance starts the scenario. Blood pressure goes up, cholesterol goes up, and this interferes with the signaling pathway. Everything's gummy, everything's thick and soupy, and now the signals cannot flow into the human cell structure. See, cells like to talk, cell to cell, but if you don't let the cells talk, then the muscle cells that usually are able to soak up glucose from the blood, they're going to get where they're no good to you. Their ears are stuffy and their mouth is shut. And when the fat cells start overloading in the blood, those excessive fatty acids, the eicosanoids, they start killing the insulin-secreting pancreatic cells. Down there in the pancreas, the islet of Langerhans begins to get slapped around, and this fire, this acid starts burning the cells, and now your insulin-producing cells no longer can produce insulin, and now for the first time in your life, your insulin levels start plummeting, and your glucose just accumulates radically. And now you have to go on insulin injections just to produce insulin, just to give you back insulin. It's a wicked, vicious cycle. So can anything be done about it? Exercise really does help the muscle cells climb the stairs, walk further, park your car out further out, just walk. Cut out that four-letter word, HFCS, high fructose corn syrup, and watch the whites, the white rice, white pasta, white bread, white potato, white sugary stuff, the processed junk foods, watch out. And then if you're on a daily wine kick, that's not good. OPC and resveratrol, the OPC with resveratrol is 200 times more cardiovascular preventive than a glass of wine. You see, the ultimate is that if you're going to drink wine every day, then you are creating syndrome X in the human body because your body is building triglycerides. It's a very, very serious nutritional problem. On the next slide, beware of MODY. That's maturity onset diabetes in young people. These ex-kids, we're talking about 11-year-old kids, too high of blood pressure, too high of triglyceride, and too high of their cholesterol, and their insulin level is borderline. They're diabetic, age 11. It's a mess. And is the culprit overeating and inactivity? Probably. 7-year-old, it has everything to do with over and under. Overeating, underactive. So the next slide is the whoopee. And here's the good news. I know some nutraceuticals that were professionally formulated, looked at with pharmaceutical technology, put together with Physiology 101, 102, 103, and 104 in mind. When these products were put together, they were selected because of their ability to make insulin sensitivity. We've been dealing with insulin resistance, but Select is a neat way to make things happen. Lean is a neat way to make things happen. And calorie-free is a very neat way to make things happen. You could choose either or a whole conglomeration of all. And it could be that if you're just borderline, Select is all you need. If you've already bumped over into the other areas, it's highly likely that Lean and calorie-free are going to be. Now, I know we only have 1 minute left, but on the next slide I want to answer a question. This is the most requested question that Dr. Charlie is giving lately on Select. And the reason is we are becoming popular. We are becoming world famous. We are becoming a spoken word, and everybody is starting to look at our product. They pick up our package insert, they go to our website, and the first thing they see is we've got it. We have the little yellow pill that's perfect for weight loss, great for energy. And the first thing they say to you is, you can't sell Select, it's got ephedra in there. The government banned that in 2004. Well, they're partially correct. Ephedra in one of many species was banned, and there are 40 different species of ephedra, and most of those, the Ma Wang that was banned, comes from China. But our product is an ephedrine-free, and that's where other ephedra products that were banned have not made it back to the market, nor will they, because they are inundated, saturated, and loaded with ephedrine. Our product is ephedrine-free, and thus we sidestep the toxicology issues of blood pressure, nausea, tremors, racing heartbeats, urinary retention. Our ephedra comes from North America, primarily Utah and Arizona, and it comes from a species of ephedra called nevadensis, better known in the last century as Mormon tea. Now, the Mormons like this particular ephedra because it's caffeine-free, and it meets their religious standards, so they can have all of the energy and the dynamics without caffeine. And so for the Brigham tea or a Mormon tea, it's been around. Actually been around for hundreds of years. And our product contains no pharmacological active alkaloids like ephedrine. It is in its synergistic whole plant, WHOLE, meaning that we keep all of the chemical constituents of that particular part of the Brigham tea or Mormon tea plant. We keep it intact. We don't separate molecules because that's where toxicity issues start showing up. And we keep our whole product perfectly balanced in what we call a nutraceutical balance. And when this whole plant is utilized, then the chemical constituents balance and protect, like it buffers, it makes things good, it makes things happen. And it's only when one alkaloid, like ephedrine, is extracted that it becomes powerful and actually becomes a pharmaceutical drug and can become very dangerous. And it's not so with our ephedra. Our Select is one of the 40 species, but we've got the best of the best because we have the ephedra nevadensis. And our product on the next slide is all natural. And what makes it so unique is that we have learned in thermogenesis, making things burn faster, thermogenesis works better with stackers. And we know that ephedra plus caffeine plus aspirin. Now, we did not want to put bare acetylsalicylic acid, a synthetic product, in our all-natural organic product. So we did not use aspirin. We use organic white willow bark, which gives us the similarity of aspirin. Caffeine, we did not choose to use caffeine. We did not want the anhydrous caffeine in our product. People can use that in their 5-hour energy drinks. We wanted the perfect blend of mate, kola nut, and chocolate. And with the chocolate, mixed with the kola nut and mate, we get the Synergy Stacker. Now, that means thermogenesis. And the first thing that happens in human physiology is the omentum, the belly fat, the protruding part. That belly buster goes to effect. And the reason it does that, our ECA, our ephedra, caffeine, aspirin, in our product, is cleansing the liver. And this ECA stacker causes everything now to start working together to commensurate, to compensate, to synergize, to put things together for a more fat-burning effect. And whenever the body is defective in fat burning, you've got to have nutritional. You must have nutritional. I can put you on a treadmill every day. I can change your diet drastically. But because your liver is fatty, because your adrenals are shot, because your thyroid is tired, because your hormones are not speaking, because your insulin is resistance, it must have a good all-natural stacker to open up the balance. And our product, Select, is structured for maximum synergy and balance, and that's the reason we're increasing the benefits at the same time letting loose of the negatives. So people are going to speak bad. When people are not up, they're going to speak down. But look, now you're educated, so you can tell them we're not like the rest of the group. We